Hello and welcome. I'm Psychic Medium Roberto, and I truly hope you're doing well today. In today's case of true crime, I'm looking at the Ohio train derailment, and that occurred on February the 3rd, 2023. But something was pinging on me to have a look at this case. All right, let me take a moment to focus and tune in. All right, so I've got this main slide here and the days. So we got February the 3rd as the key date. I went on 2 days further, and then I backtracked all the way to January the 29th, 2023. Now, while I was doing the dates and breaking this down, I didn't have a Norfolk Southern Railway formation date. Found that afterwards, but very interesting development with that. So I'll include that a little bit later. So let's just get started here. So on February the 3rd, 2023, we know there was a derailment, and that was in the late hours of the evening. So on that day, February the 3rd, we have the 2, 3, 7, and the outcome 5 and 7, with the outcome of the day 12, 3. Now, looking at that date on its own doesn't tell me what I should be seeing in terms of what happened on that day, because it happened late in the evening. So that would then tag through on February the 4th. So what I'm going to start with saying on February the 3rd, with that 5 there, that red 5 bothers me completely. Now that tells me there was a lot going on in the background here, and I can say while meditating on this company, Norfolk Southern Railway, the sense that I'm getting from these guys is there is something seriously wrong in this company. Okay, I'm going to say it again, there is something seriously wrong in this company, and I'm going to point that out as we go along. Now, with that 5 sitting there, that for me is a red flag, problematic. And with the outcome 12-3, pings directly on Norfolk Southern Railway, pings directly on the company involved here with the 12-3. And the issue was created by them themselves. Okay? No external but internal issues created this accident as far as I can see. So let's look at the next day. February the 4th, 2023. We have the 2, 4, and the 7. Now that red 4 is the chemicals. The 6 are 2 things here. 1 was the explosion, and also the poison that was generated because of the accident falls on that 6 as well. Okay, and that 13-4, of course, it's a death and endings number, but it also tells me that whoever is responsible is under threat of a prison sentence with the 4, and the individual responsible, because they're obviously going to throw someone under the train, is an employee who will be fired, and the blame will be put on that employee. But in fact, the problem doesn't sit with the employee either. Now I'm just going to go forward before we go back, because it's quite interesting that once the dust settles, we see and it reveals what actually happened on February the 3rd. So if we look at February the 5th, we see that 5 again. Now, the key numbers that are going to play out here are 3s, 5s, and 7s. Now that red 5 on February the 5th bothers me completely. And we can track that 5 all the way back. Well, we can track it back to February the 3rd, because that's the issue. But we can track it all the way back to January 31. Okay? And that 5 on February the 5 tells me lies, corruption, fraud, even bribes. And the arrow pointing to the 7 is the train operator lied about the situation. with the outcome 14, 5 again, 5 again. So there's a lot of lies going on about the consignment, about the knowledge of the chemicals, as well as I wouldn't be surprised, because I believe this is the nature of this company, that a bribe was given or taken to nullify or lessen the real impact of what had actually happened here. This is a dirty company. Okay? And I wrote under there, where it says maintenance record is in question and negligence, I wrote there is a sense that this train and operation of the train was put under pressure by a tight schedule. That's one issue. Operationally, there was a need to meet targets, so profits, money, even if it meant cutting maintenance and operational corners. Okay? So in essence, I don't believe this was an accident. This could have been prevented. All right, so let's backtrack here, because we're going to see the story unfold as to how this all played out. So if we start on January 29, now we can go back and do a bit of history on this company. There's been several derailments, and I believe there was a recent derailment again. And let's have a look. January 29, 2023, we have that 2911-2. That for me is a red flag, where laws, and let's say a law, technically a law has been broken. But in this case, it's cutting maintenance records, it's cutting maintenance operational procedures, it's bending the rules, bending the laws to suit 12.3, which is the company. And that's reinforced with the 10.1 company. And so what that tells me, and there's more evidence of this, is that the company is fully aware of what it is doing. So in other words, it's not someone in an office, someone making a decision and then they go on to something else, and that decision has a knock-on effect, a domino effect on the structure or the operating procedures of the train. So this company is fully aware of what they are doing and the impact of their actions. They are fully aware. So that when we get to January the 30, now with that red 4 is the presence of all those chemicals. And what concerns me the most, that is on January the 31st, we see the 4, that's the chemicals at play here. There is a red 5, big red flag, because although the company were aware of the hazardous conditions, 1 of the chemicals, 2 of operating procedures, and 3 of maintenance, there was corruption, fraud in that 5 on January the 31 to benefit, and it's all about the money with that 1, it's all about money, to benefit 12.3, which is the company. Now, if you will notice the January 31, the 5, 7, 12, 3 is a foreshadowing of what was to transpire on February the 3rd. Okay? Very important and also very alarming. And again, if we go to February 1, the 3, now, as mentioned in the earlier part of the video, I didn't have the railway operators details, but I had written there the issue, the person is number 3, which happens to turn out to be the operator, right? The train operator. Now, with that 10.1 and the 3, pre-knowledge by the organization about the issue, it would have been brought to their attention. So that all deals with the chemicals, right? As well as the operating procedures of this company. And prior to having their formation date, I've highlighted the number 2, which is from the NO in the company name. Okay? So what happens is then February the 2nd, again, we have that 4, which is all about the chemicals. So there was definitely an issue around either the type of chemicals being transported, or you shouldn't have those kind of chemicals traveling together in an event of a crash or an explosion. And we see the prevalence there of 11.2, which is a law was being broken. And this company was fully aware of what was going on. So once again, we have greed, power, determining operational procedures, maintenance procedures, brings about negligence because money is king. And in this case, a whole town had to be evacuated, and I stand to be corrected on how many people had to be evacuated. But of course, the impact is detrimental. I believe one of those chemicals that were on the train was a chemical used in World War I as chemical warfare. So on traveling on that train with that 4 popping up everywhere along the way, there was a highly dangerous toxic chemical that was used in World War I, that when they had to burn all of those chemicals, caused that toxin in the air. And I did receive reports of people going in, officials going in to inspect, and we're ending up with sore throats, coughing, lung issues. That was that chemical. A World War I chemical warfare agent being transported through communities and towns inhabited by humans. There was a knowing about this, and they chose to ignore it, whether it was through a bribe or because the amount of money they were going to get in transporting this. But the outcome was only to benefit 12.3, the company. So traveling through the towns, we had a chemical warfare agent, a traveling threat to all communities when that train was traveling. And the company was fully aware of it. This company is full of 5s, bribery, corruption, wouldn't be surprised if there's embezzlement, fraud, lies, all for the dollar. A tragic case once again of greed and money surpassing the needs of humans working at the company and the humans that are on the sides of those train lines when those chemicals are traveling through. Very disturbing. All right, let me know what your thoughts are. Please send your comments. If you have not subscribed, please hit the subscribe button and hit that notification icon. And I would just say stay safe, stay alert, and I'll see you in the next one.